Bet. Made for live betting.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
It's the quick scope! This is unreal! Anything is possible! Anything is possible! TyLoo is a monster, Tom!
Hello and welcome back to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 5. This is going to be, I believe, our 1-1 game. 1-1. Chance to obviously move up or move down a little bit. That is pretty much how matches normally work.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to this one. NiP obviously getting surprised yesterday by AGO. The polls going 2-0 in their game, which, yeah, they really have shown how they're here to play at the moment. And then obviously TyLoo, brilliant game to start things off. They've actually, I feel like TyLoo have definitely had the worst luck so far. They had the finalists. No, yeah, actually, that's it. They've had both finalists of last season's Star Series. They've beaten Na'Vi, then they lost to Mousesports. And you know what? I don't think it's got that much easier for them either. They now go into NiP, who are a team. I feel like they're on. I feel like they're on the rise. I feel like they're on the rise when it comes to this team.
TyLoo or NiP?
NiP.
Oh, see, NiP.
I would say on the rise. I think they're going to get there.
I love NiP, but
you love every team.
That's
so that
true. I just love Counter-Strike, Tom. You know, this game that we all bond around. It's fantastic. Everyone says CS:GO is dying. If you think that, you're an idiot. So here we go.
What do you mean Overwatch? It's clearly.
Oh yeah,
like, it's on the wall.
So yeah, with NiP, I've been right. With NiP, you know, they look good in their game versus Hellraisers. Was it Hellraisers or Optic? I don't even remember, but they look good there. No, sorry, it was Hellraisers. Optic was some other event. And then AGO, they really dropped the ball in that matchup, Tom. I watched that. It was pretty painful. Not the NiP I'm used to seeing. So that was always upsetting. I think TyLoo are going to prove to be a challenge for NiP. I think some of the places in which they lack, I'll be honest with you, Tom, is in having that consistent firepower within this roster. And I think that's where TyLoo can thrive. You know, they're not the most in-depth team in terms of their strategies, but in terms of their ability to put up numbers, they're pretty perfect. Bentet is, or was rather, in their matchup versus Na'Vi, the only person who I think I've ever really seen go so proficiently toe-to-toe with Simple, for example.
Yeah, no, I feel like TyLoo definitely, like in terms of individual skill, we've always seen them have like strong players. The problem is just communication is one of the messiest things that we've ever seen in Counter-Strike.
That is true. Actually, I tell you what, we can muse over that one later. Let's see how their communication is with Parla in an interview.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Accurate, the star AWPer from TyLoo. Firstly, how are you doing?
All good, thank you.
Great. And how is it to be here in Kiev?
Actually, it's my second time in Kiev, and then last year I come, it's really cold, and then now it's really hot in here, so I like this weather.
Yeah,
so I'm like
it's different. Last time I was here a few months ago, it was snowing, and so definitely a change in climate. Talking about climate, what's it like in your team right now, the mood? You're currently 1-for-1.
Our team mood is now still really good, although we lose to Mosport, but we still feel really confident for next match.
Now, moving forward, if you lose this, you go 1-for-2. So you're not out, but if you win it, you're very, very close to getting to the playoffs. How is everybody in the team approaching your next matchup?
Everybody in the team feel really excited and really feel really motivated. Motivated like that to the next match tomorrow.
Yeah, and so what have you guys been doing to make sure you are completely prepared for these opponents?
Actually, before we just finish our practice, we practice against Europe team, and then after we know that tomorrow we're gonna meet NiP. Tonight, I think we will watch the demo, and then we will create more strategy, tactic like that.
And what's it like to know you are playing against NiP? Because that is an experience within itself, right?
Yes. Actually, honestly, we don't want to meet NiP, but we just play, I think, tomorrow against NiP.
Oh, you're not playing NiP?
No, we're playing against NiP, but honestly, we don't want to meet NiP.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. I was really confused for a second there. Oh, okay, so in that sense, why don't you want to meet them? And even if that's the case, hopefully you still have some fire that you can beat them.
Sure, of course, because before when we practice against them, we always lose, and then they play really well, and then that's why for the first, we don't want to meet NiP. But after the draw coming out and then we meet NiP, okay, we just do this. We just play with our confidence and then don't think too much.
Okay then, and so, it is different when it comes to an official match. So maybe it could be different to practice?
I hope so.
I hope so for you as well. Accurate, best of luck, and thank you for the talk.
Okay, thank you for the interview.
That may be the most adorable interview I think I've ever seen.
No,
in
honestly,
my life.
I love him. I think actually, I think TyLoo are pretty great. I'll be honest with you, big fan. And the thing I like most is, he says they go away, they've watched the demos and everything, they've been preparing. There was that video that was released recently of some of their prac. I think it was versus Vega Squadron they were boot camping against, and it was showing their comms and how they're communicating. In English, which isn't a native language by any stretch. There's only 2 players that are, fluent in it, and that's Buntet and Execure, obviously. The others are having to actually learning, and that's unreal. And the fact, I think it was Blair made the point of raising that, he always imagined that there would be a skill ceiling as a result of that, of how in depth TyLoo could be. But I think they just seem to keep getting better and better. I think that's pretty unreal, all things considered.
Yeah, I will say, NiP have done exactly what you should do against TyLoo. They have banned Mirage.
Big fan of that.
It's just the one thing, it's joked about in the past. I've made plenty of jokes about it. It's if you ever play an Asian team, just ban Mirage. Never play Mirage. Even if they've not been playing well on Mirage, don't play them on Mirage. Because it's just one of those maps where you just see unreal performances come out from them. So, yeah, definitely a good decision to have that out of the map pool. Got Overpass and Inferno as the first couple of picks. I always thought Cash as well was another one that was just sort of the map that whenever they were in China, they just win every single game. So we'll see. There you go. There you go. It's gone as well. So,
and I mean, here's the thing: Inferno looks like Mirage, same color palette as Mirage, basically as Mirage Junior. I think TyLoo are pretty damn good on that as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Ooh, we're already getting into the knife round, Tom. So you knife for sides.
See, that fits really nicely. I like that.
The NiP logo always seems to look good whenever it's overlaid in the game.
I was actually talking about even just the betting.
Even the betting, yeah.
I think it
nice. The placement
nicely
was good
on the box.
That should be opponent edition.
I kind of want to see an NiP logo balanced on top of the fountain. Just
Get on that, guys.
I know it's not.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Tom's already throwing you in at the deep end here.
Just spinning on the top.
Spinning. You want it all. Maybe add some glitter into the mix or something. I don't know, sparkles.
Make it rainbow colored.
A giant picture of Draken's face next to it. I don't know. That was weird. I spoke to him a little bit. He's an interesting guy.
Interesting. Is that good or bad?
Open to interpreting. He's actually he's a very nice guy actually, is Draken, and very determined to actually get better. But
was that before or after you jumped over a swimming pool?
That was kind of both, actually, before and after.
And during.
And during, yeah, I just gave him a shout out. Yeah, you should have seen it, dude. I'm, used to be an old, used to be a long jump champion in my county, Tom. Don't want to brag. Then I got unfit because esports. What's going on? Here we go. NiP over on the CT
we'll jump
side.
into the game.
And we are. TyLoo, they're on the T side, obviously. After NiP win themselves the pistol round.
Knife round.
That's what I mean. Same thing.
Or you've just got, like, future vision.
Maybe I do. Let's see how this one turns out, Tom. TyLoo going to be taking the bomb over towards B. Look at the utility. They brought up 2 smokes, a Molotov, and a flashbang. They're going to look to try and use that to get into this bomb site.
Get right, it's going to be sat waiting, but he's got a lot of support. They sort of sent Rez aggressively towards A to find information, and because of that, they've got the stack. And, well, this is not looking so good already for TyLoo. They're just being slaughtered on the side. They will eventually look to just back out. All the utility they've expended has not worked, and while somebody is the only man left, he's been spotted by Draken, and, well, he'll get himself one for his troubles, but they know exactly where he is. There should be absolutely no hope in this scenario. NiP, they do the pretty much classic stack on the pistol round, and it is going to work out wonderfully. TyLoo, we're just going to have to wait to see what they do in the Force.
Yeah, they're going to be force spying down. Something interesting that we didn't really get a chance to touch on, which I think we can talk more about in the next round when TyLoo just have to go for their flat eco, but that was the Dust 2 third map pick. That's going to be interesting. And we'll leave that till this round is all said and done. And you can see NiP, they've brought up some SMGs. MP7 on Dennis. That gun's kind of starting to have a bit of a resurgence in popularity. I think it was really Chris J, like, pioneering the MP7 usage.
What was it? What did we cast him and get, like, 8 kills in 2 rounds or something with that MP7, didn't he?
He's a pretty nutty gamer, that's for sure. Oh, Rez, just going to miss the timing.
I like his hat. It's very shiny.
Very shiny. That's not normally a comment I associate that makes a hat good, Tom. But anyway, here he is. Shiny hat. It is shiny in all fairness. And, ooh, he's going to manage himself too. Does actually then falls. Now they've gained themselves a FAMAS. That's going to be inaccurate, but Draken pushing around from behind, drops the bomb, and also deals with the man with the rifle, leaving it now on Buntet. And I never actually know.
I would just say AE.
AE, that's perfect.
Or AE.
Why did you dab? You didn't dab when you said
like
that. I don't know, it was like a mini dab. Oh, goodness.
You can't prove that. Buntet left in a pretty horrible position here, and I believe Dennis is just going to be waiting around the corner. There's not really anywhere for him to go. He does have the Deagle, but nothing more can be done. It will be 2-0 to NiP, and now they do have that chance to sort of just farm up a little bit of extra cash. Maybe an extra SMG will come in. Yep, Draken going to do that. Of course, wanting to get his AWP as soon as humanly possible. And on the other side, they really can't afford to invest anything. Accurate just going to be waiting to get his AWP, but there will be a little bit of a limitation there, especially when it comes to getting Kevlar. You obviously need 3,000 going into the round where you get the loss bonus of 2,400 to be able to afford Kevlar. So he needs a kill.
He most certainly does. Over here towards long, it's going to be Dennis and Rez taking the aggression.
He's not got a kill. In fact, he's already dead.
So that is going to impede his ability to frag. Get right could get caught out here, but it's only the Glock that meets him and greets him, and then Get Right deletes him. So Draken to finish things off. NiP getting up 3-0. Now the bite can come in for TyLoo.
Yeah, and this is where we do see that AWP brought in on both sides. Draken, it will mean that he's taken like a little bit of a hit in terms of what would have been a bonus round otherwise. But you look at the buy that's coming in, considering this is a quote-unquote bonus, because they do have enough money to buy into the next. They've still got rifles on every single player, full utility, an abundance of kits. So this really isn't a bad buy at all for the Ninjas. And now we'll go in and see if the Ts can actually do anything in this round. Of course, they've only lost the pistol and follow-up. Draken going to be going for the aggressive peek, but all he finds is a grenade, and it takes a lot of damage. In fact, he's going to fall, and somebody knowing that there's another man around the corner, Dennis will be able to peekaboo out from the connector. And does net himself one of his own, and, well, Dennis, as he tries to escape, is almost caught, but at least has left it into a 4 versus 4.
Dennis might try and close that gap, but actually he's going to get caught out by DD. Now they can go back and look for this bomb. You can see Get Right even starting to follow up with some aggression down through the short position. Has to be careful. He's alone on the B bomb site right now. If Get Right falls, TyLoo, they are going to get this site for free. Get Right does manage to find the first. He's going to hear all the footsteps coming in through long and does get caught with a nade out. He's going to go for the bomb plant. Nade rains in, does find some good damage. Forest and Rez left in a 2 versus 3. Now just Rez, AWP in hand. Not what you want in the retake. He's going to have to back away and save. This was the attempt at the bonus round from NiP. So they're going to have money to invest into the next, especially if they hold onto this AWP. Rez can drop it over to Draken and then buy himself a rifle. So they're going to have everything they need heading into the next round. But TyLoo getting on the board early, and actually it's going to be made that much worse if Rez can't get away, and I think Buntet saw him.
Yeah, looking like Buntet, is he going to check the angle? Yes, he is, and that AWP is gone. And that does actually make quite a big difference going into the next round. It will mean that it's likely that Draken might have a CZ instead of his trusty AWP, unless somebody else is going to take the hit for him. Of course, we have already seen this map played by TyLoo. They managed to take it off of Na'Vi when it was Na'Vi's map choice. So it is, they've proven that they can definitely play against the best. The question is, are they going to be able to take this one away from NiP? Going into this round, both teams do have a few limitations. Galil onto somebody isn't ideal, but they do have a much better buy in terms of utility. Double AWP setup actually comes out for the CT side instead. Forest will pick one up alongside Draken, and Get Right's the one to take the hit and only have himself an MP9. So it is going to be the SMG in play. Of course, this map is actually the choice of NiP, and then we head in onto Inferno. So we'll see if TyLoo can take this map away from 2 different opponents, 2 different legendary teams. Either way, here we go. Push coming through onto long from TyLoo. Now the man may be spotting things out. I was going to say would have been Rez, but the fact is something has called the TyLoo boys all the way over towards this B site. There is a bit of a gap in the smoke for Forest to actually play around, but as it fades, he's left a little bit more into the open. He's going to go aggressively peeking and doesn't connect the shot, but it does, however, give a lot of information. You can already see the rotation starting from Draken as they're now going to stack towards this B site.
Yeah, Rez as well on the flank through connector. He's going to be there to try and shut down any rotations in through the short position. Push about to come through. Get Right lining up this flash. He has support from Forest. Timing is everything here for Get Right. Backs off the angle with that flashbang. Going to throw it out now to try and assist Forest as he looks to hold down the site. Draken chiming in with a second kill. Dennis now emerges from short in the blink of an eye, rather. He's just Execute left alive, and Rez going to finish him off. NiP, they managed to get a leash on at TyLoo. And just like that, they found themselves a 4th coming through onto TyLoo.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in what called them to just all rotate, because they looked set on taking long. Like they were pretty much, it looked like they were going in that direction. They started pushing, and then something switched. Every single player just went back towards the B site, and well, that secondary AWP of Forest just basically meant that he had all the information. We saw 4 players ready and waiting on the site for NiP, so it didn't look like TyLoo really had a chance in that round the second that happened. So I'm interested to know what the call was. In this round, at least, looking like they are saving some cash, a few pistols invested in. Already Rez is going to kick things off. Has the support from Draken as well, just holding off further angles if the peak is going to be coming in. But Buntet running and shooting and taking heads. Not going to make things easy for NiP in this round.
He most certainly is not. He's not a man who makes many things easy for any team. So he's going to continue aggressing in through toilets. Dennis playing this position. Ooh. Ooh. Size does matter, but not for Buntet as he gets beheaded as a result of the longer barrel. And Dennis, he's going to find everyone. 3 kills for him. Somebody does trade, but Rez there to shut him down. That's going to be NiP. Maybe on to their 5th. They keep things pretty clean. 3 players surviving means they don't lose too much money out of that round. But now the buy is back on the cards for TyLoo.
That's what they say. Sometimes there are benefits to having a shorter barrel.
There is indeed, Tom. This is going to be a as we say, the buy coming in for TyLoo. They've got the AWP on Execute. You can see somebody does take a hit along with AE, so they can get the extra utility. And actually, this aggression from Rez, it's going to go unnoticed. They are checking for it. Rez finds the first. Execute going to try and trade, and he can't do anything. As Rez shuts down another, he's going to go for the trade down in mid. Rez finds 3, and now Buntet left in a 1v4. Does at least manage to topple the man with the triple. Leaving Get Right, Forrest, and Dennis now to contend with the star for TyLoo.
Has to go on a bit of a retrieval mission to try and get that bomb. He's also been spotted, so they do know he's around this area. And the problem is, I don't know if they have actually found the bomb yet, but because they've spotted where Buntet is, Get Right's now going to just sneak around that angle just because he's there, and he's going to stumble onto the bomb. So this is already a big, big problem now for him. You can see Get Right in on the flank. Will be able to close down this round. And 6-1 up. The Ninjas looking good. They make themselves a little bit of extra money. And the fact is, TyLoo now can't actually buy into this round. I do wonder if this is going to be the sort of back to the old sort of TyLoo syndrome of where on the first day they do something utterly ridiculous and you're just like, they're here, they're ready to play, and then they sort of bomb out of the tournament from there. I'm hoping it's not, because I've always wanted, like, TyLoo to succeed. They've done so much, like, in terms of like upsets and making Counter-Strike exciting for quite a long time. They've just never like really achieved anything.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true, Tom. I have to agree. The other thing is as well is like in some ways I always admire how like the entire Asian kind of scene as influenced that of, you know, EU and NA, like the meta. Like they've never like made any like broad sweeping changes, but they always influence the way like you end up adjusting. Or like we see sometimes like, you know, EU teams siphon things that these guys do out of like their strategy and then adapt it to use. Like, I mean, for example, like one of the things that always springs to mind is it was you know, like sort of Asian teams that originally played like a super passive Inferno CT side, or up until then it was, you know, kind of a little bit more hybrid than that, and you know, then we kind of saw that come into favor for a long time. But I think it'd be great for TyLoo to finally get some good results. They did get that first win versus Na'Vi, and as you say, they were the finalists last time around, so they haven't had an easy run thus far. There's a collateral for Draken. You can see that one happening from a mile away. And he's just going to be filling up body bags left and right. There is just one man left alive, and that is somebody. Dennis steals the ace. NiP going to move on to his 7th round. They were just eco kills, so not going to get too excited about it. But now the buy comes back in for TyLoo, Tom. This is where things could get interesting. You just knew that was going to happen. The second you see them like that, you see Draken walking towards Long, it's like, oh, well, good luck, guys.
Well, has Accurate actually had an AWP with armor yet? I feel like every time he's bought it, it's been without. Maybe that's just he likes to live life dangerously, but at the moment, maybe they need him to play a little bit more safe because it is 7-1, and NiP looking dominant so far. We are going to have coming in that flashbang. It's excellent, but Rez still gets 2 kills. Completely blind, and both players fall. A little bit of luck. Probably quite a bit of skill going into that. And while the T side already with the 2-man disadvantage, and Rez is not done yet. It's not like he's on his last legs. He's looking to try and peek back towards this long position. He's completely rotated in and Accurate. He is there. He's looking in the wrong direction, though. Peeks around the corner, spots his opponent, and will finally put Rez to bed. The problem is, in the meantime, we've lost another member of this T side, leaving it on to just DD and Accurate.
Yeah, NiP, they've only arrested down through Long. That's Dennis there. In the meantime, Get Right does actually fall inside of the B-bomb, so leaving Forrest now to try and get things back under control. Accurate in a 1v3, AWP in hand. He's going to start to aggress. The crossfire on short from Draken, though. That's going to prove to be too much. NiP up 8-1 as their lead continues to grow once again. No more money for TyLoo. Leaves them in an awkward spot. They can partial buy, but they're going to go for the force. As Buntet and somebody both buy up AKs. Going to be AKs across the board for everyone else. Apart from Execute, who picks up that Galil. He can get a little bit extra utility. But with this this sort of buy, you got, what, 5 flashbangs, 1 smoke. I think you'll be looking towards something fast, and that looks to be the case as they head down here towards this B-bomb site. Actually, gonna split through connecting. They try and take control away from NiP here early on. But first, you have to topple the new boys. And I say new, relatively speaking. Rez and Draken down here. Rez manages himself too. Somebody going to get the trade. But now Draken desperate to reclaim that heavy man advantage. The bomb going to get dropped, and Draken sitting on top of it. DD and Excurate left in a 2 versus 4 once again. They've got it all to do, and Draken is not giving up the angle. It is just DD. Oh, lots of players come his way, and Get Right going to discover him. So NiP, a massive lead now in round number 10, 9-1.
Yeah, they are looking utterly dominant so far in this match, and we haven't really seen any of that sort of fire that we've seen from TyLoo before, even just in terms of individual prowess. Like, there has been next to nothing here, so hoping that they'll step up soon, because the fact is the money's starting to get to a, well, I think it's already at a ridiculous point for NiP. They can buy for the next couple of rounds, and just the scoreline in general is getting to the point where they may not even be able to come back from this, even if they do get themselves the next couple of rounds. But here we go, fast rushing towards the site already. Dennis and Forrest shot this down within seconds. There's only somebody left. He finally gets a kill, but it's another 4-men save from NiP. 10-1. They are rushing through this match. We are going to have a buyback in. AE now buys up the AWP, so are we going to get a double AWP on the T side? Is that what it's fallen to? No, Excurate, the final time he can actually get some armor with it, the time he can afford to buy it with the protection, I suppose, he doesn't.
No, it's an interesting switch up to see AE with it. Rez, this mid-aggression from him has not been punished, and this time it looks to be more of the same. Draken up on Party. I love the synergy between these two players as he now holds one side of the park. He is wary that they could be pushing through connector. Rez and Buntek, they just miss each other. Oh, the timing. This is beneficial for either party. Rez now can come through the backline and find Excure and that bomb for free, but they're going to lose out as Draken falls. Rez now has to make a big play. They've got no idea that he's here. He snuck by Buntek. He's not going to go for the knife. Surely no, he's going to go ahead and change together 2 frags. There we go. Rez has dropped the bomb, and what a play. As now it falls to somebody in Buntek in a 2v4, wondering how on earth Rez got there. This man really does live up to the ninja name. Now these two have to try and fight back and regain control of the bomb, which is heavily under the control of the counter-terrorists right now.
Yeah, this is more than problematic for TyLoo. A retrieval mission when you're already in such a detrimental spot. Rez making the big plays that were needed. Flashbang. I don't even think that blinded anybody, and Dennis is comfortably going to be able to close that one down. 11-1. I do wonder if like Rez has his own special type of smoke, where instead of it like dropping a grenade, it's just one of the ones where you just throw it at the floor and it goes poof, and he just disappears.
Like a
ninja.
Yeah, like a ninja.
That was what was being implied, Harry.
Or like a wizard. They do that.
But I feel like they do that with actual magic. That's what makes them a wizard.
Yeah, but there's NiP magic. What's worse than like a wizard ninja, huh? Would it be ninja wizard? It feels weird saying it.
I don't know.
Well, Tom, really makes you think, doesn't it? Why do we say things the way we do? Let's take a look at TyLoo.
I feel like this is a bit late, I'll be honest. A tactical pause when you're this far down, it's like best case scenario is you manage 4 rounds, which it's workable, I would say, on the CT side. Try not to break the chairs.
I smell my fingers. I'm worried about breaking. They just got stuck in the little mechanism.
Your fingers are replaceable.
Yeah, it's fine.
You only need your voice.
Wow.
We could take your legs, really, and
okay.
You'd probably still be fine.
Yeah.
You can still do your job.
Why not, you know?
Sell them.
Sell them.
Well. Here we go. Back in. Excurate. Again, he doesn't have armor behind that AWP. He just doesn't like it. He has to be nude when his AWP is out. And DD This time does manage to find an opener. Dennis very quick to trade things back, but he's overwhelmed. But again, it's happened again. In the back lines, it's Get Right sneaking in from behind. Hasn't been spotted yet, manages one, denies the bomb as well. Somebody looking to try and run back into the site to stop this man. But the problem is, sometimes it's the older ninjas that do it the best. They've managed to turn it into the 2v2. However, AE is looking to sneak in. Never mind. He's been caught, and Rez will do the same. Get Right going back to the olden days there as he sneaks back through a smoke and wins them the round.
Yeah, it was just his birthday yesterday, right? So, you know, clearly wasn't celebrating too hard with plays like that. He's still feeling fire today, up 12-1. With age comes the wisdom of knowing how to play situations like that, Tom.
12. How old are you?
I'm 3.
Yeah.
So
it's quite an impressive beard for a 3-year-old.
I mean, yeah, it's not for my actual age, though, is it? So here's Dennis going to be going aggressive down through long. And TyLoo, a team that we kind of, you know, they're quite famed as well for being the rather hyper-aggressive team. They just can't seem to keep up with all these fights that NiP are taking. They keep losing ground. They're going to try and topple Rez in toilets. They do find Forest, at least in the meantime, but it's Draken and Rez once again. This dynamic duo shutting stuff down over and over, and then there's even Dennis at the end chiming in with a kill. You weren't very confident in him landing after the first spray whiffs of it, but still NiP up 13-1. Just buckets of confidence at this point over on that CT side. Everyone's smiling, everyone's having a good time.
So the 1 was the first buy round, right? So has this been 10 rounds in a row now for NiP? Can we look at the scoreboard quickly, like when we get back in? After this beautiful, like, swinging round we get to watch. Is it possible to bring up the scoreboard? Because I think it has been 10 rounds in a row or something ridiculous. I'm guessing the answer is no.
Yeah.
We'll see it in a round anyway, because it pops up at the end of the half. Maybe it'll be 11 at that point, because we've now got... We do have the double AWP coming in on the T side. Excurate, he's managed to finally get it with armor, which has only taken him, well, 14 rounds. This is the 15th, the last of the half, and we'll see. Does it make a difference now that he's a little bit more protected? Draken, well, he's in a spot of bother. He's going to manage to reposition, take another shot with the AWP, but it's a quick trade from AE. However, Dennis is there as well, almost caught with an aid in hand, but we'll switch back to the rifle. It won't matter. AE is going to be there with that AWP, almost lost, and will fall to Rez, who, considering how aggressive he has been excellent. Can he find himself anything more? Of course he can. A second on the board already. He is 20-5 at the moment. And now somebody is all that remains. Does manage to at least Get Right sneaking in the back line. Still got Forest to deal with, and well, as clinical as that, it's 14-1 to the Ninjas. I was going to say it doesn't get much better than that, just by 1.
Yeah, it definitely can, Tom, but I don't think they're going to be too upset when we're not going to 15-0.
No, I think they'll be okay with that.
They're feeling pretty good. Me and Get Right actually had a very nostalgic chat the other night about how events have like scaled up and everything, and how like exciting it all is.
Was this when you were following him again?
No, this was just like, no, he actually came and sat with me. So how backwards is that? But yeah.
Ooh.
Those kind of are a sign of the times
so
for TyLoo.
Close. Can we just add like a 2 or a 0.02? It was 1335.
Ah, right, because you wanted it to say 1337.
Yes.
Because that means leet.
Thank you for the clarification.
I haven't actually seen that in a while. So here we go. Anyway, this pissed around anyway, Tom. It's all exciting. Get Right's got the flash and smoke. He also dropped the PT-50 over to Dennis, which is a, you know, I don't want to call it like a mini raid boss, but it's more instead like the PT-50 is great for taking the longer range fights. That's why we see it bought out so often. Ooh, but it doesn't matter. You know, you use it up close, and Excurate just takes heads off. Now Forest trying to fight for to reclaim the bomb. He's going to get caught out in the open. Players all around, and taps onto somebody, runs out of ammo, dancing around the fountain, and Excurate finally going to get rid of him. Third kill of the round. It's Get Right 1v4. Now, ooh, yesterday was the birthday boy, so Excurate going to gift that one over to him for free. But now in a 1v3.
Wow. 16 HP, has a smoke, but doesn't have any Kevlar. Not that it would really matter at this point. A bullet will do the work nonetheless, and doesn't have control of the bomb. So it's going to be very, very difficult indeed for Get Right to get into this round. 35 seconds left on the clock, and although the loss bonus isn't going to be massive, it's still better than nothing, because the chance of him winning this round are slim to none. DD pushing around the angle will close things down, and at least we get a second for TyLoo. They're going to need to string, well, all the remaining rounds together to not go to overtime, and that is a tough task to ask, but maybe they can do it, Harry. Maybe they can do it. Do you believe?
I love an underdog story, I'll say that. But
so that means no.
Well, I'm going to be impartial. I think that's the best thing you can be.
That's worse than saying no.
No, I'm just saying, right, you look at it like this, Tom. You got to go 12 rounds in a row to even tie it up.
You just can't say it.
Because I think, you know, as my role, as you know, someone who's meant to build up some excitement behind this, you shouldn't write it off.
You're more on the fence than Jonathan Byron.
When NiP reach 15, then I'll say, you know, TyLoo can't do it. But the game is not over, Tom, until you hit 16 rounds. And I'm not just saying that because it's like...
Because it's a fact.
Yeah.
Like...
You know, I'm just saying, it's CS. Anything can happen. So here we go. Dennis is over here towards Long. They force support into this round. Scout out for Get Right. The Eagle on Forest. CZ's for the rest of the gang over on the side of TyLoo. They've played it pretty safe, and I think that's understandable. They physically have no rounds to play with. 3 Famises, a UMP. Ooh, don't do that again. You don't want to go jump peeking into Get Right, let me tell you.
You sound like his parent. I suppose Xcure is kind of like small and innocent. Maybe you are his dad. It is definitely possible.
Small and innocent.
Yeah, he's a sweet little guy. Here we go, though. It is going to be a push coming in on towards that A site. Multiple players coming, and while Draken's going to get the opener, they don't spot somebody in the corner. And while it is going to be a slaughter, but actually it's going fairly even at the moment. The SMGs looking to try do the damage, and eventually Rez will be shut down.
14-3, and they get one more shot at Easy Street here for the side of TyLoo. NiP, they just have to take this one on the chin, go for the eco, Glocks across the board. Over on the side of TyLoo, you know, they played it so safe in that previous round, they don't have any SMGs to make money. But that's fine. Money doesn't really play into it all too much at this point in the game when you're 14-3 down. This is still around there they want to be keeping clean. While money doesn't play into it too much, you want to have enough to have all the utility you need, all the defuse kits, everything in every one of these rounds. If you lose really anyone here, you kind of run the risk of, you know, if the second you do lose a round, you're going to have no money. And, oh, how does Get Right always manage this? DD didn't check his corners. Get Right still hasn't fired a bullet. Sure, he is somewhat baiting the rest of the team, but he gets the information that there is a man coming their way, and that's going to allow Forest and Dennis between them to find a kill. Now they've got an M4 to play around with. He's here to try and trade back, but Dennis going to keep on fragging. He's doing economic damage, Tom, and this is one of the things that I said you absolutely couldn't let NiP do. He's going to turn back round, face off against somebody. Awkward angle to hold, and somebody tagged down at 31 HP. He's dead in a couple more shots. They're going to keep walking into Dennis. Xcure's heading up the ladder. They're desperate to try and deal with Dennis. That made... Ooh, it's not enough to do it. Dennis on 4 HP. They've given him way back into this so much that they're cracking more than my voice is. Bintet ends it here, though. RIP, Dennis. Good attempt. Valiant effort and lots of economic damage done. A 4th round for TyLoo, and now the buy comes in for NiP.
Yeah, the fact is, though, that was still quite a large success for NiP with the amount of damage they were able to do in that round. And the fact is, if this goes wrong for TyLoo here, that should pretty much be it. Like, we're not really expecting too much more. They have themselves a little bit of extra cash onto somebody. DD and, well, Bintet with $1,000. This is nice in real life. It's not so nice in Counter-Strike. So, you know, I'm not really hopeful at the moment. They have to try and win themselves this round. Xcure not going to be picking up the AWP. It will be AE going a little bit more aggressive. He did have some pretty good kills towards the end of the last half, and that was quick. Forest is removed. The trade from Rez is going to be coming in. He can't quite pop the second, though. And I wonder if Xcure is going to want to go on a mission to try and save that AWP. He's not. He's playing it safe.
Well, here's Dennis over here in connector. Not going to discover anyone. TyLoo have their defense split between either one of these bomb sites in a 2-2 setup. And Draken and GetRight waiting outside of B. Dennis trying to sell something over here towards this A bomb site. Somebody's pushing down through long. Xcurate keeping an eye on things at the long position on the A bomb site. Hasn't spotted out Dennis just yet. They're going to get smoked off down towards Monster. Only 35 seconds on the clock here, so they have to start to make their way in soon. And DD holding close to that smoke. Dennis gets discovered down in mid. DD turns his attention over towards short for a second, but is able to readjust in time. Draken will fall, and TyLoo, they reclaim another round. They're going to be on to a fifth.
Yeah, at least managing to slowly drag this back. It's obviously a very important round for them to sort of have any chance into this game. The fact is, though, they pretty much need to continue this streak until the very end of the map. This is, of course, NiP's map choice, so we do expect them to win this one if they are going to have a chance in the series. But going on to Inferno, I don't feel like they're just out of it. And TyLoo going to have to strut their stuff on that one at least. However, for now, there's only some pistols. Not anything too crazy. Going to try and do a little bit of damage. I wouldn't obviously write them off completely. But we are going to see a little bit of aggression now starting to creep in from the CT side. It's what I actually like to see. I feel like if you play too passive, then obviously it sort of implies that you're having some sort of confidence issues, unable to perform. And the T's are actually going to be going and peeking in. It's going to be a dual peek, but wonderful stuff from the CT side. They had the crossfire ready. Now the push comes in onto Monster, but there's no support there from short. It should be impossible. Aggressive peek actually coming out, and Forrest, that's the second player has run out of ammo while trying to kill him. They will still do the job.
They do the job indeed, Tom. You're right there. 14-6. Looking at this now, there's 8 rounds between these two teams. TyLoo have won 5 in a row, however. NiP going in for another buy. They have rifles across the board. We saw them take the eco in the previous round. That loss bonus is fully built up now. They're going to be getting the full 3,400 for that. So a bomb plant every round means that they can buy. Xcurate going to be holding the angle over here in mid. Gets flashed off the angle, just backs away. Concedes this area of the map early on. Dennis in connector, doesn't have support from GetRight. You can see him edging forward. The flash does come through, however. And it's a perfect flash at that. Dennis, quick double kill, courtesy of GetRight. Forrest going to find himself one more, leaving Buntet and DD in the firing line, in the hot seat to try and keep TyLoo in this map. Would require a monstrous performance. Molotov, well, it looks like it was to block off Draken. That was actually thrown by Dennis, I believe, to try and flush anyone out of that corner. Bomb's going to go down, and DD and Buntet, they've stacked down towards B in the hope that if NiP did head that way, to have 2 players there to try and hold it back. And in this scenario, you just save. You hang on to the weapons, you take them with you into the next round. It's going to be map point, though, for the Ninjas. 15-6 here on overpass. And NiP, they only need 1 more round now to close out their map pick in a very dominant fashion.
Oh, Buntet and DD. They're at least going to be able to hold on to something to bring it into the next round. However, well, at least I say that. They're still taking fights. We'll be able to remove Dennis at least. Make things a little bit more costly for the Ninjas. But not anything too worrying from them. AWP going to be kept into the next round as well, so they'll be going in with a flawless buy. And the CT side, they've had a couple of closer rounds, so I'll be interested to see how much money they have. I believe they should have enough just by the save onto those AKs. But yeah, this is what they've sort of left themselves with because they didn't manage to do anything over on their T side. Obviously a 14-1 half. Absolute domination from the Ninjas, and now they're looking to try and close things up. But there is a double op setup coming in for this CT side. They've got a decent amount of utility and still those AKs from the previous round. So it's not like they're completely out of this one just yet. The Ninjas can't afford to take themselves the foot off the gas. Now, CT side, we are going to see those AWPs, at least one of them set over towards that A-long position. The other, actually going to be looking to take maybe a bit more of a peek towards B. AE definitely seems to be the more aggressive of the two, at least so far in this series. He's been taking some aggro peaks across the map, with varying success, of course. Didn't really see the AWP too much from him in the first half. X-Curate was bringing it in the majority of the time. Dennis, already tagged down to just 19 HP, so still plenty for him to try and do in this one. And actually, the T's looking to try and sneak back through. They've got to be careful of this Toilet's position, as X-Curate is there. He's had a pretty poor performance so far. It isn't going to manage to connect the shot on the crossing player. It does give a little bit of information over, and actually a rotation comes back in from Buntet to support him. With 45 seconds left on the clock, the T's beginning to need to make a decision.
It looks like they have, Tom. It looks like they've decided on this A-bomb site. Even get right down towards B. Him being there means they can switch things up. They know they have controller connector. They know they have get right. Keeping short clear. There's no aggression here from TyLoo. They've left their options open, but now with 20 seconds left, it has to be the play in towards A. Get right to try and deny some of these rotations so they look to come through. X-Curate holding down long. There's only 12 seconds left on that clock, and he's going to find the first on the Draken. They all line up for Buntet, but he can't get the job done. Get right in the meantime now starts to slip the knife in the back of the players rotating. The bomb goes down, and that was their hope, denying that bomb plant. That's now out the window. X-Curate is going to tag one man, but it all falls to AE. And he's going to need to live up to the 1v4. Bomb ticking down. There's no way back into this for him. Forrest going to hold the angle. NiP, they get it done, Tom. 16-6 here on Overpass. They close out their map pick in a very, very dominant fashion. There was a time there. TyLoo chained together 5 rounds on their CT side, but the second NiP find that one that takes them through to map point, they're able to close this out. That is kind of the issue with that 14-1 score, and there is no margin for error on the side of TyLoo. They didn't look too comfortable there. You know, we didn't really see the key players step up. X-Curate normally a standout AWPer. He wasn't really on the board. Buntet was struggling a lot.
Basically
So yeah, it didn't really pull through for them. I think, you know, over on the side of NiP, you had all the names that you had to see step up, and they looked very, very good there on Overpass.
Well, yeah, and the worrying prospect there is this was actually a map that they managed to take off Na'Vi when they won, well, obviously the only series they've won so far in the tournament. They did lose to Mouse Sports, but again, we've said they've met both finalists of the last StarSeries very early on in this tournament. They've now got the Ninjas. It's been a difficult road for TyLoo, and a lot of the time when this team is given flack, it's spoken about that they're given easier routes or they find sort of like less difficult teams to play against. That has not been the case. Obviously, when looking at this scoreboard, I feel like I'm very surprised to not even just see all 5 of the Ninjas here. It was a very dominant performance from them, and I don't think there was anybody really slacking. Like, even when you sort of look at Get Right, he has a 1.5 KD. It's not like he's played bad, it's just that he didn't see a lot of the action. He even had some impact rounds towards the end. One of the rounds, it finally looked like TyLoo was going to win, and he got destroyed. And then there's this man, Rez. He was all over the map. He was, I think he was in more terrorist positions on the CT side than TyLoo were.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it speaks volumes that you're comparing AE and X-Curate there. You know, AE kind of the guy who picks up the AWP alongside X-Curate, but he actually had the more AWP frags out of the 2 of them. So that's never good. We're going to need to see those names step back up if TyLoo hope to recover heading into Inferno. We'll be back with that matchup and map number 2.